Afternoon, we are joined with Max Homa here at the John Deere Classic. Max, making your third start and first since 2017. What is it like to be back?
Yeah, it's nice. I've always really liked this golf course, so it feels weird that it's been this long, but happy to be back. Course is in amazing shape, so obviously great people here. So yeah, it's probably been too long, but glad to be here and looking forward to the week.
Just got done with your Pro-Am. What have you seen changes of course, or what have you liked and remembered, brought up memories from years past?
Yeah, the greens are faster and firmer than I remember. Usually, I know this place is quite a birdie fest. I will say that with the pace of the greens and with just a little bit of bounce to them, might play a little bit different. But for the most part, looks pretty similar. It's just in like very, very good shape. I don't remember it being in this good a shape, so it's cool to come to a really good layout and see that it's, in that kind of, where the fairways will roll a little bit. Everything's lush, but there's some cool little low areas to pitch around. And like I said, when the greens are like this, they're in really good shape and they're really fast. It adds, a nice wrinkle to a somewhat benign tee to green course. So I think you got to keep the ball below the hole out here for sure this week.
You mentioned the birdies are out there for this week. Is that typically weeks you like where scoring can go low and opportunities are out there?
Yeah, typically I haven't been super successful on courses that the winning score's too low, like in the 20s. So it's definitely a different challenge for me. I've always played better when the winning score was somewhere between like 8 and 15 under. But I still like playing. It's just you have to, the mindset's a little bit different.
Perfect. We're going to open up for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a mic over to you.
Max, you sound excited, though. I mean, do you feel like you're in a good place heading into this weekend? This week, with where your game's at?
Yeah, my game isn't particularly sharp. Obviously, I haven't played well this year and haven't played great lately either. So, pieces of my game feel awesome, but just in general, I haven't played sharp enough, especially, a week like last week where you're beating up the par fives and there's just a lot of birdies to be had. I hit a lot of greens, just didn't get a lot close, and ball hasn't really been going in from 20 or so feet, so it's been kind of a grind. But, you never know. Hopefully, everybody out here is so good. You can get hot any 4 days, so hopefully this one's those 4 days.
I asked Ricky this yesterday. You've developed in one of the the fan favorites on tour, and I expect you to have a nice following. You have some kids looking for autographs today. Does that help you jumpstart you a little bit heading into tomorrow, knowing that there's going to be people out there supporting you?
Yeah, it's just one of those things I've been super lucky with, especially with the kids. It always puts just things into perspective. I haven't had a very fun, year and a half. So, but when you get a bunch of kids coming up, excited to get, your name on their hat, like at least it makes you feel good inside. Even if you made a bogey, it's definitely something that kind of gives you a nice reality check. So, like I said, I've just been super lucky with the support I've had for a while now. So, and it's fun then to come to a place I haven't been in a while and get to meet a lot of those people and kind of feel that the love and support here.
Craig, go ahead.
Max, everybody out here struggles at some point other than maybe Tiger Woods and Scotty Scheffler. Do you look at the fickleness of the game as you go through this stretch, and does it help you kind of keep perspective and realize it can come as quick as it went? And
I guess it's probably an important thing to keep in the back of your mind. But I don't think anybody out here is, you're not just sitting here saying, oh, well, it'll eventually click. Like you'll probably, have some kind of like panic meter of trying to get better. I guess the balance is trying to recognize progress, even if it's not as fast as you would want it to be. So kind of trying to look at little wins here and there, whether it's, a good driving week or good driving day. Good round, something like that, and then looking at that as progress instead of being so anal that you need to get back to winning and top 10ing every other week like you used to. So I think that's probably the tough balance, but I don't think anybody out here is struggling and thinking, well, it's a fickle game. I'll have it soon. It seems to go a lot faster than it comes back.
Have you talked to Mike Kim about his that period of time where he just couldn't make a cut and and now all of a sudden he's showing up on leaderboards frequently and seems to have it back in order?
No, I have not.
Have you talked to anybody? I mean, is there? Do you guys chat about the states of your game and how it comes? You can put it back together.
Yeah, I played 9 holes with Jason Day yesterday. We talked about a lot of things, but always he's a breath of fresh air out here. He's a wealth of knowledge. But Justin Thomas has been like the greatest friend you could ever ask for through all this. Colin Morikawa has helped too. But Justin and I talk all the time. On his off weeks, he'll check in on me, how it's going. He did it all last week, so I have the utmost respect for him. I owe him a ton, just given his time and the fact that he really cares. So that has been really helpful. Obviously, I'm lucky I got an amazing wife, but it is nice to hear it from people who kind of have gone through, well, not gone through it, but just that play the game, because it's hard to explain at times, why something feeling bad is so disruptive. And then obviously you get to listen to a 2-time major champion. He's won a ton of golf tournaments out here. It's very fortunate to have somebody like that to lean on.
Hey, Max, with all the birdie opportunities out there on a course like this, how does that help you maybe find your game?
I don't know. I've actually played better on the hard ones this year, I think, because everybody's struggling. And, my biggest struggle this season has just been the long clubs. I've still ironed it pretty well, especially the last, I'd say, 2-3 months. It's been back to what I'm used to. So when it's really hard and a lot of people aren't making birdies, I can use the rest of my golf game to not get blown out, I guess, just lose by a lot but not run away. So when it's a course like this, it's a bit tricky. I need to find a way to manage the off the tee and the long stuff, be a little probably more passive. There's a hole like number 10 today. We potentially could have got there. It is a really small green, but just looking at that's just probably going to be a 3-shot hole. Let's try to play to our strengths. The wedge game's been really good, so I probably have to almost tone it back to then to use what I've been good at, and hopefully that sparks something. The fairways aren't really tiny here. There's a couple tricky ones, but for the most part, I think you could probably scrape it around. And then, like I said, try to use the iron game. So, maybe it can spark a little bit of something. But, it's not something I really focus on a week like this. I'm just trying to, get the ball in the hole. If it looks ugly, if it feels ugly, but I make a lot of birdies, I'll be good with that, and I'll have to go, kind of back to work the next week. But the goal is just to score this week for sure.
Tom?
Max, how do you deal with a week like this? You say you come in not playing your best golf, but you come in here as one of the marquee names in the field. Does that dichotomy put extra pressure on you? Does it affect you at all? Do you even worry about being one of the marquee names, one of the drawing cards in this field?
I wouldn't say I worry about it, but it has been a bummer to come to some cool places where you feel a lot of support and then not be there for 4 days. So I'd be lying if it probably doesn't affect you a little bit, but it's not something I'm not out there thinking I'm a marquee guy. You want to play well when you're playing in front of a lot of people. You would like to put on a great show. We are, entertainers by trade, so you want to go entertain. So it'd be nice to, do that and excel in front of people who come out and buy a ticket to watch you, hit a golf ball around. So it'd be nice if I could do that for them. But I'm not walking around there thinking, all these people are here for me. So it's not exactly on the front of my front portion of my brain.
Over on the left, Nick, then Doug.
Speaking of some of the times that you've played well this year, you shot 64 on Friday at Quail Hollow. You were 12th at the Masters. When you look at those weeks and those days, how does the breakdown work of analyzing that and knowing what you did well, and how do you bring that into other weeks as you move forward this season?
Yeah, it's tricky. Augusta, I played horrendous, but that golf course in some odd way, if you know it really well, which I feel like I kind of got last year when I played well, I was very disciplined in the leaves and just using the rest of my golf game to keep myself in it. But I hit it very poorly that week off the tee, so I just thought my way around the place really well. Quail Hollow having one great day was awesome, but that was I drove it well. So I don't know what I take from that exactly. But what I will say is I tended to come to places like this where the scores are really low and you almost get kind of lazy in your course management. And I think the one shining light of like the way my game is, coming to a place like this is hopefully I'll put a little bit more thought into leaves, and you don't need to be on every green and regulation. Avoid some bogeys, sprinkle in some birdies, and just kind of watch that go. I think sometimes we play, like last week for me, I played knowing the scores were low, and anytime you miss a par 5 fairway, you're just, bummed out. So I need to do a better job of that. But so that's what I would take from like Augusta, because as poorly as I played and as decently as I scored, it is a very unique golf course, much different than this, but there is something to be learned from that.
Doug.
Max, do you ever just walk away from the game just to kind of get your mind right? I know when you're younger and trying to establish yourself, it's probably a hard thing to do, but now that you're a little bit older and you've got a balance, you've got kind of a structure, do you find more value in just kind of getting away? And what led to the question was hearing you talk about Justin and Jason and how much they've done for you and helped you mentally and so forth. Do you have things, a lot of people when they want to get away from work, they go play golf. Do you have stuff that you enjoy doing away from the game that really kind of helps you keep a balance?
Well, obviously spending a ton of time with my family, that always helps. It's hard to really get away from the game in the middle of the season. We don't have like loads of time off. I thought about skipping a bunch of events in the middle of this, kind of the beginning of the summer, but I just don't think I have that in me. It's hard to get away from it. It's just on your mind. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to whenever I'm done this year and just like trying to get away from it. But someone asked me the other day, like the difference between this and when I played poorly in 2017, and one is the golf's a lot closer than it was then, but just the lack of anonymity's a bit hard. Everywhere I go, someone's talking to me about golf. So that's obviously a great thing. Like I said, I'm really lucky, but it's just hard to really go do much. Or used to really like going to sports bars and watching games with my friends, and that just like isn't exactly a safe haven anymore. So no, it is hard. I don't think that's a good thing. I would like to. I've been looking up new hobbies, so hopefully when I get home next week, I'll start to get into something. So it's just it comes with the territory, but it doesn't deter from from the progression of golf. It just makes it a bit harder to feel refreshed, I think, has been the hardest part of this year. I haven't done a good job of it myself, so going to try to mix some things up at home and make, like I said, have some hobbies and do some things that are not golf that, bring me some joy, because, golf just like, you're just so tied into results, and once you kind of go down that path, it's hard to stop. So just, it's not like tons of fun. So I want to find something that's, fun that I feel like I can get better at. I don't know. I was thinking about getting into cooking. When you have a 2.5-year-old, you make a lot more meals than I was for myself. So I'd like to get better at that. I could treat my wife to a not my typical home cooked meal, something a little bit better. So I think I might get into that. Thought about getting into fishing. That seems nice and peaceful, and no one can bother me out there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna workshop it, but I've got some ideas. I'll give a couple of things a go and see how it works out.
What is your typical home cooked meal?
I can grill a little bit. I can make a decent sauce for pasta, but I'm not super great at it. Fortunately, my son eats chicken tenders, so he thinks I'm probably a great cook.
We'll do final one with Tom.
Max, you talk about the anonymity and getting away from everything. Did that factor into your stepping away from social media, where you had connected with so many fans over the years?
Oh, no. The reason for that was just the vitriol you read online. It has become a safe haven for people who are, I think, angry themselves. It is quite absurd what people, how comfortable people feel writing awful things. I step away a lot also from Instagram, but I feel like that's been a bit less crazy, although it's still not great, so I take my breaks from that. But yeah, I just, if you wouldn't choose to like sit around a table with somebody who's being that mean, I don't know, you would always get up. If you were right there and someone was being rude to you, you'd either ask them to leave or you would leave. So yeah, Twitter or X or whatever is is an awful place. It took me a while to catch on to how impactful that can be and how much of a waste of energy. But I miss the connection with the fans, but nothing comes without, I mean, just so much like hate and anger. There's a lot of love in there too, but unfortunately it really does get overwhelmed with you can have one really bad one, but I don't know if it's a gambling world or whatnot. I'm happy they can do it because it seems, fun as hell in golf. But I mean, you get people say some bad things. You get people telling you should die on the internet. So it has nothing to do with not connecting. I'd love to keep connecting with people, but I try to do it in person a bit more because I have yet to meet somebody in person who has said anything even remotely mean. So yeah, it's a safe haven for assholes, for lack of a better term. Sorry, PJ Tour.
Have you sensed a difference in yourself since you backed off from Twitter?
Here and there, you just realize just how much you don't need it. I got a lot of my sports info from there, and at times that can be, I miss that. But I mean, I find out eventually. Like when Luka got traded to the Lakers, I had no idea, but I got 12 text messages, I would imagine, within the first 5 minutes. So that's the thing, is I think when you first step away from it, you feel like you're missing something, but you start to realize that you're missing absolutely nothing. And I think that was I wish I would have done it earlier. But like I said, a big part of getting all the support from people has been through social media and connecting with people. I've met some awesome people through the internet, but I just think it's just become more of a negative, like far more of a negative than a positive. So I just, read The Athletic now and get my sports news from them.
Perfect. That's all the
Thank
questions
you.
we have. Thanks for the time, Max.